For me, creating legacy means creating space for people to love their families out loud. The whole premise of what I'm trying to do in my business these days is completely predicated on the idea that we have never lived life the way that we are now, between social media and pandemics and all the ways that the world has changed. The one thing that hasn't changed is how we feel when we lose people. And as a matter of fact, I feel like that's been magnified in the way that people grieve and are trying to hold on to the people that they love. And as much as we lean into photography, we don't lean enough into printing and creating things that will last beyond our social media logins and so forth. I have luckily been in business long enough, just long enough, that I have seen, when I started, I was printing albums because that's what you did. And then I went through the space where it's not what you did. And now we're coming back full circle to where people realize that, no, really, we do want to print these things. We do need to hold on to these memories. And the only way, you cannot hold on to digital. Like, it literally does not exist. Like, your sessions are NFTs for all constructive purposes, and that's worthless. Once it's done, like when it's all said and done, your kids are not going to pick up phones to remember you. I want my photography legacy to be celebratory. I want it to mean more. I want my photography memory to mean more than just, oddly, how people feel about these moments and memories. I want them to be able to reach beyond the people who love them. I want everyone to see the value and beauty and amazingness in these people that I photograph, which is why I'm so set on printing, because the only way to do that is for people to see them. Like, the only way for me to get these people connected to other people is through like gallery showings and printing and wall art and albums and image boxes, and like for people to be able to physically pass these pictures between themselves. Like, I want people to know the beauty in all the different kinds of people that I meet and photograph and get to know and get to love. Like, for me, a session is an opportunity to fall in love with another person. And I want everyone to feel that the way that I feel about these people in the time that I get to spend with them. So I love Miller's for a couple different reasons. When I first started, back in the olden days, I've been doing this for a long time, and Miller's was the first company to ever convince me that printing mattered to them. Like, as a company, it mattered to them. And they were very clear in their commitment to family as a company, and their commitment to family and printing as what they create for people. Like, their product line is so singularly focused on making families a priority. Like, they make the most beautiful family albums, the most beautiful wall art options, it's just like everything about my experience with Miller's as a lab has always been about connection and being excellent in that connection. And I'm not just talking about the prints being gorgeous, because quietly every print in my studio, I have all of the prints are from Miller's. Like, I've used maybe 3 other labs minimally over the years for prints, but I always come back to Miller's because they're always so spot on, and they take pride in that. Like, if something comes back and it's not right, they will fix it. Like, they do not have a problem like making sure that they get it right for me. And they have been doing that for me for about 16 years. So I love Miller's. Like, I cannot say enough about them, especially as a family and portrait photographer solution.
Show me some of your favorite albums and wall art.
My favorite family album right now is this one. that I didn't know you were going to ask for when I pulled it out. This book was a engagement session that turned into a family session. So it's a blended family that got married, and during the engagement session, they were like, can we bring our kids? And I was like, absolutely. And so we did a signature album for them with a matching box, and it is got an acrylic cover, and it's just a lot of beautiful, fun, good times. I treated it more like a family session than an engagement session, but it's been a very popular book in our display. My pricing starts with signature books as our base product, and then albums are an upgrade option. And so this book draws people up and into the albums every time we show it. I tell people this is parenting 101, moving children all the time. It's like a black leather with a diamond emboss on it, which I love, with the matching box, which is beautiful. And I try not to sell albums without a box if I can help it. I had a water main break in my studio a few years ago, and all the albums that survived the water main break were the ones that were in boxes. So I try not to sell an album without a box unless my client is just like, I refuse to pay for it. Fine. And my favorite wall art piece from Miller's is they have a bamboo line, which I love. The image is printed on bamboo. It's just my favorite. I love it. It's the easiest wall mount. It comes with a little bamboo strip that has a level in it. It has a level in it that you like put on the wall, and then you just click. It's the easiest install ever. I love it. So
I think every wall art should have that for an install.
Just put the level in there.
Yeah.
Just make life easier.
So good.
Yeah, it's great. So those are my two favorite items, and I sell a lot of the signature albums to portrait clients a lot these days, and engagement clients buy them a lot as well.
And what's your favorite like wall art collection or grouping to sell?
I like to do a 20 by 30 with two 16 by 24s on either side. I like the kind of asymmetrical kind of diamond shaping that it kind of guides you through. Like the two end pieces kind of draw you to the middle. So I like that as a wall piece. I like triptychs in general. Like if I'm going to do them all the same size, I like to do like 20 by 30s, like a set of 3. When I'm dealing with older clients and moms, I will do a more collage kind of wall collection and kind of build through, especially if I know, like if I have them scheduled so my senior sessions, what I do is I schedule the senior session and I give a mini session for the family, especially if there are more than one child and I've never shot them before, because I know the pictures are going to be better than what they are used to getting. And so I want them to not feel bad about putting beautiful pictures of their senior up and not having options for the other kids. Like I know that life of having multiple kids, and the like second and third kids always feel like everything great happens to the oldest and then they get crumbs. So a mini session for the family gives me, while I do the session for free, it gives me upsell opportunities, because like I can sell a 16 by 20 wall art of the senior and then a 20 by 30 of the family, and a 16 by 20 of the other kids, and triple my wall art sale. Like wall art is harder for me to sell in senior sessions because I don't have the connection of having done their families before. So this was a way for me to kind of work around that and increase my revenue opportunity.
That's
so
great.
I do that a lot.
How important are slideshows when you're doing the in-person sales session?
Slideshows are most important in my wedding sales. I don't know why brides, like, they melt into a slideshow. They just melt into them. And they want to see everything. I have learned that the hard way, trying not to do slideshows before I do a wedding album sale. They need to see everything to believe that you really did pick the best stuff. They have to have seen everything. So they're absolutely like mandatory for weddings. For family sessions, I feel like slideshows are an absolute must do, but they don't because a number of images is so much smaller than a wedding. My client is going to make me go back through it again and again. Like, we're gonna do that like 2, maybe 3 times.
And do you
So
do
the-
slideshows of just the images, or do you do slideshows of also include the album and the wall art?
I
in the
just do
slideshow?
the images, because generally what I do is I just do the images, and so I let the slideshow run through Fundy, and I use my gallery to mark their favorites, and then I take the gallery names, mark their favorites in Fundy, and then I use that to make their album. And so they assume, and I can do all that while the slideshow is running, and so they assume that I use their favorites because they're my favorites. If you're just starting to be interested in IPS and product sales and you're trying to get your toes wet, I would encourage you to start with Miller's signature book. This is the book, not the album. I would tell you to start here. Don't make a 20-page book. Make as big a book as you can afford. Well, no, it doesn't matter what size it is. This is an 8x8. It doesn't matter what size it is. It matters how thick it is. The more pages is how you make more money, not the size. The cost difference and size difference between an 8x8, a 10x10, and a 12x12 is minimal. But the number of pages is where you're going to see yourself making the larger sales possible. And you have to show your clients the possibility. If they like it as designed and they can leave with it today, and that is a huge selling point for a lot of people. Oh, you mean I get to leave with a book right now? Right now. And they love that. And Miller's makes that possible because it takes literally 48 hours for me to get a book in hand. Like, I can place this order. It's 1:00 on a Friday. I can place this order right now and I'll have it on Monday. Like, without question or hesitation. This is a thing that we offer. I would tell people to start with an album, and I would tell them to start with a folio box, image box, folio box, that you can do 25 or 30 matted prints in, and use that as a nice foundation setting piece that shows some value and some thought.
How has Fundy Designer changed your business? Like, what's the difference using it versus not?
I don't have a business if I don't have Fundy. I have been using Fundy since the very first version, when it was a Photoshop plugin. And every time I think he cannot make this bad boy better, you guys find a way to make it better, more effective, faster, easier to use, more intuitive. It has grown with me over the years. Like, it has grown with me since the very beginning. Without Fundy, I live at my studio without it. Like, I don't have time to take my kids in the summer to the pool without it. I don't have time to go to dinner with my husband on a Tuesday without it. I just don't. Fundy is the only solution that I trust for album design, album proofing, period. Like, people send me all the things. I've tried all the things, and none of them are as good.